This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay. Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. We're going to do our Pesacheinu Megadim offering, connecting the beginning and end of the Parsha. So I have to say, it was not easy this week to connect the beginning and end of Parshas Vayigash. So one idea is Vayigash Elov Yehuda. Yehuda approached. This is talking about the ascent of Yehuda. Yehuda, of course, rises to Malchus. The Balaturim says, Soifei Tevois Shaveh, that Yehuda is equal to Yosef. In other words, he is now assuming the role as Melech. You know, he's establishing himself as a Melech. That's why Yaakov Avinu sends him to build the yeshiva. And it ends with the words, Vayeachazu ba. Vayeachazu ba. The Gematria Vayeachazu ba is 45, is Geula. Vayifru Vayirbu Ma'oid. Ma'oid is also 45, Geula. And maybe that is the after the 44 candles of Chanukah, then we should be Zacha to Geula, which is 45. Now, I want to share with you my favorite connection between the beginning and the end of the Parsha. I was kicking myself, you know. I don't know why I didn't see it right away. I was working at this, trying to figure this out. I didn't see it right away. You know, the beginning of the Parsha, the Parsha opens, Vayigash Elav Yehuda. It also ends with the word Vayigash. Say, what? Yep. It ends, Vayeshev Yisrael Be'eretz Mitzrayim Be'eretz Goshen. Say, okay, where's Vayigash in the end? What does the word Goshen mean? I never knew this. The Archaim HaKadosh says that Goshen is a lashon of Hagasha, of coming close, of approaching. Isn't that interesting? So that means it begins Vayigash, and it ends that they came to the land of Goshen. But what does that mean? That Goshen is a lashon of approaching. The Archaim says, what does it mean Vayigash Elav Yehuda? This is one of my favorite comments of Archaim HaKadosh ala Torah. Yehuda realized they were in a pickle, they were in a jam. This king is out to get them. He framed them with the money. Then he framed them with the goblet. What in the world are they going to do? They're dead. They're in trouble. They're dead meat. Yosef says, Yehuda says, when all else fails, try being nice. Try being warm. You could actually manipulate somebody by being nice to them. We know there's a phenomenon, Kemayim panim el panim, kein lev ha'adam. If you want to know what I think about you, how I feel to you, the way you feel about me, that's how I feel about you. Got that? Hearts reflect each other. So if you want to know how I feel about you, the way you feel about me, that's how I feel about you. But you could actually use that to manipulate someone, because if you engender feelings of warmth and closeness to somebody, even if it's, so to speak, artificial, you could then make them feel close to you. So what Yehuda was doing is Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Yehuda was coming close to Yosef in his heart, to use that as a way to influence Yosef to feel close to the brothers. You know what? And come to think of it, maybe it worked. Maybe that's why Yosef couldn't hold himself back anymore, because he felt the closeness of the brothers. But Vayigash. So what Yehuda was doing was drawing Yosef. He was drawing Yosef to him. Says Archaim HaKadosh on the end of the Parsha, that's why Klal Yisrael went to Eretz Goshen. Goshen is a lashon of approaching. All the sparks of Kedusha, we know that one of the reasons that Bnei Yisrael went down to Mitzrayim is because they needed to collect all the sparks of Kedusha. All the sparks of Kedusha. We're now drawn to Klal Yisrael in Goshen, Miloshen Hagasha, as a magnet draws metal. So the Parsha begins, Vayigash. Yehuda is drawing Yosef, Vayigash, and it ends, we went to land of Goshen, where also we were drawing the Nitzotzos HaKedusha. In the Sefer of Rav David Avi Chatzera, Reish of the Sefer, he says that the words Vayigash, we find in Chazal, you approach for three things: for war, for prayer, and for a gift. And in fact, the Parsha ends Ma'oid. Ma'oid is Milchama, Eschanan, which is Tefillah, and Daron, presence. So basically, it begins Vayigash, that Yehuda approached for three things. He approached for war, for prayer, for presence, and it ends with the word Me'oid. Me'oid is Rashi Tevois. Milchama, Eschanan, which is Tefillah, and Daron, which is presence. Rabbi Victor Nebenzal has a Maimar where he writes a similarity between the beginning and end of the Parsha. He says the Parsha begins, Shuvu shivru lanu ma'ad oichel, go get us food, and it ends, Vayitein lohem Yosef lechem, Yosef gave them food. Okay. You could add, the Parsha begins, V'ata yeshev na avdecha tachas hanar eved ladoini, let your servant be a slave to my master. So they were offering themselves as slaves. And at the end of the Parsha, it says, Nimtzachem be'enei Adoni, the Egyptian says, let us find favor in your eyes, V'ayinu avadim lepara, and we will be slaves to Paroi. That, my friend, Reb Daniel Weinstein pointed out. That's a nice connection. And he also showed me, in the beginning of the Parsha, there's a well-known segula from the Ari to find favor in people's eyes by saying the pasuk, Bameh yizake na'ar es orchoi lishmar kidvarecha. And there's a sefer that says that Yehuda was using the skula when he was speaking to Yosef, because there are extra words in the opening pasuk. There's the word bi, na, el, ki, ke. Basically, those extra words are Rashi Tevois, the pasuk, Bameh yizake na'ar es orchoi lishmar kidvarecha. And of course, the Parsha ends with Mitzias Chen. So that's also another connection between the beginning and end of the Parsha. So we see Pesacheinu Megadim, how the Parsha opens and closes with great treats for Klal Yisrael. Okay, that is offering number.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.